the New York Knicks survived against the Indiana Pacers, winning 111-94. Big game from their two stars, Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns. Brunson had 32 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Cat had him a good game on one leg too, man. You can tell that ankle still hurt. He had 24 points, 13 rebounds. Big game for him, man. So they are not dead yet. They will be heading to Indianapolis tomorrow night, and they will try to push this to a game 7. Yeah, let's just get into this, man. To me, this game was what I expected. I originally said that the Pacers were going to win this series in 6. I've now moved off of that. This game reminded me of the Celtic Knicks game from last round, where when you're at home, you got to save face. The Knicks haven't won a home game all series. In fact, well, I think this stat has gone under the radar. They have not been good at the Garden this year in the playoffs. They are 4-5 in the Garden in the playoffs, and they've been much better on the road. So that was something that stood out as well. It wasn't a blowout, which they were up 20 for a little bit, but the Pacers always came back. This to me, I took nothing basketball wise from this. This just looked like something where the Knicks played like a team where they were 48 minutes away from being eliminated, and the Pacers played like a team like, yo, we got this home game in our back pocket, which is still very dangerous. I think that every option is still on the table with this series. It would not shock me if the Knicks found a way to win this series, and it wouldn't shock me if tomorrow night is blowout. But I do think I'm interested to see how the Pacers play in this situation, because last year, even they won a game 7 on the road, there's a lot of injuries. Julius Randle was hurt. OG Anunoby was on one leg. Josh Hart was dealing with stuff. How are they gonna respond to the pressure that's gonna come with trying to advance to your first NBA Finals in a quarter century? That loud crowd's gonna be ready, and the fact that you don't want to go back to New York for a game 7. Not saying they can't win a game 7 in New York, because they've done it already. And I don't think that Jalen Brunson is, and this is going to sound disrespectful to him, even though it's not, one of those guys. So, I don't want to be in the game 7 with that guy. Like, not to say he's not great, but when I say something like that, I'm thinking about the greatest of all time when I say that. They can still win a game 7. But you're playing with fire if you lose tomorrow. So I'm really interested to see how they're going to come out and what this is going to be like, as you got the Oklahoma City Thunder in the background getting as much rest as possible. Pat, man, what's your thoughts on how this series has been, and what do you give the Knicks chances to be able to push this to a game 7 and be actually able to win?
All right, so obviously I was in Europe doing this series, so I'm watching a lot of these games at like 2 a.m. I'm half dead, I'm tired. Some games I would go to sleep and wake up for the full quarter just so I could, see it. But from what I did observe, and watching and seeing it and watching the highlights was, I think that one of the main things that I liked that Tibbs did was he acted like he had more than 7 players on the team. Like you actually have Delian Wright, you have Landry Shaman. Not to say that these are like great players, but you have guys who you can spot and get you like 5 to 10 minutes. And again, you saw, granted, I'm not saying that they're gonna do this every game, but you saw in game 5, those guys really, really stepped up. Shaman played I covered the Clippers when Shaman was there. Shaman played some of the best minutes in general I've ever seen him play. I remember like he hit a couple big shots when the Warriors lost that big lead to the Clippers. I forget what year that was, but when the Patrick Beverly and KD thing happened. But he
that
played
was 2019.
Yeah.
That was the series that actually he messed up his calf, which led them
to No, it was a season. No, it was a series afterwards. Because that was a series he was healthy, but that was him. That was like the last time we saw like.
Oh yeah, you're right. What series was it that he was it
the
Houston?
Rockets to Houston.
Yeah, okay,
it was like game 3 or game 2 or game 3 in Houston. But also the thing that I like was he benched Josh Hart. He put Mitchell Robinson in, which pretty much completely gave the Knicks a size advantage. Like, I mean, if you look at certain points in times where like the Knicks, especially with Mitchell and Cat on the floor, were literally just too big for the Pacers. So he did do some things basketball wise that I think matter. Also, I think they did a better job of getting other people involved when Brunson was on the court, because too many times when Brunson's on the court, you give Brunson the ball and he just dribbles for 18 seconds and then has to shoot a miraculous step back. He be out there playing like it's literally the same offense that they ran with the D Rose team, but like you have better offensive players.
But with better players, yeah.
Yeah, but you have better offensive players on the court, and you don't have to do that. Like Bridges had to average 25. Not to say that I think Bridges is going to go out there and give you 25 on the Knicks, but I'm just saying you have guys who have averaged 20 something points in the league. Seems like Cat has found something. Like Cat, I mean, granted, it was last night, and we got to see, what Rick Carlisle will come up with for Game 6 if he has any thoughts about what happened and can ways to figure out how to neutralize some of what Cat did. But Cat was just getting the ball and just driving straight to the rim, and it was like nothing that nobody could do about it on the court. So if that's gonna happen consistently in Game 6, also Halliburton. This is why when everybody like, granted, Hallie did have the incredible Game 4, and he's had moments in this series.
You gotta shoot, nigga.
But while I'm still not ready to slap the superstar label on Tyrese Halliburton, I understand that they was defending you well. I understand that, you may be a pass first point guard, but brother, how many shots he took? 6, 7? I'm sorry.
Yeah, he took 6 shots.
I'm sorry, bro.
4 of those came in the first half.
I'm sorry, bro. There's no way you as the best player who is a point guard who gets the ball and has the ball should only be taking 6 shots in a pivotal Game 5. I do think that they missed the opportunity, just mostly because I don't think they came out with the right disposition that they needed to come out with, right? Like I think, you trying. Now, granted, this is the team that's like you said, is trying to get to the finals for the first time. Trying to get to the NBA finals for the first time is different than trying to win a first, second, third round, first or second round. So if you trying to get to the finals, they didn't come out with the disposition that I saw that they needed to come out with. Everybody kind of looked shell shocked at like a certain point, but I will say this: they better win Game 6. If they don't win Game 6, I have zero faith in the Indiana. Granted, like you said, last year, whatever they did, what they did last year, cool. This team ain't last year's team. If they go, I have zero faith in them being like that enough to walk in the Garden and win a Game 7. So they better win Game 6.
I don't have zero faith in the Pacers. I have zero faith that the NBA is going to let them niggas win. Because we always talk about I don't believe the NBA is quote unquote rigged, but if there's a situation that they can affect, a Game 7 at home is a situation that can affect Indiana, Oklahoma, New York. At least you still got that New York.
I also just don't have faith in Indiana because I just don't think that. Like I think that the best. I think that the Knicks have the best first 5. Now, once you pass the 5, I think that the Pacers 5 to 10 are better. But the first 5, I think the Knicks have the best first 5. I think like Hallie and Brunson might cancel each other out, and I think Siakam may be better than how it's playing out now when you got Cat and Siakam basically matched up against each other.
Yeah.
I think that the best first 5s on the Knicks. I don't want to. The longer you can go into a series where the better players happen to be on the other team, I just like the other team's odds.
I agree with that, and of course, also the hostile environment. Like that's also what I want to see how they would respond. I feel the same way about Game 6 tomorrow that I felt about Game 6 the prior round for the Knicks. Like you better beat the Celtics today, regardless Jason Tatum or not. You don't want to go to the Garden. You don't want to go there. So, Bang, man, what's your thoughts been on this series? And you still think the Pacers got this in the bag, or are they playing with fire right now?
That's a fine, brother. Scott, that's a fine for you too. Y'all both muted.
Well, we both muted. I thought I was trying to tell us that
Who muted me? I didn't even hit the.
I didn't mute you.
I'll take the fine because I had just pulled myself up and I thought I was unmuted. But there we go.
Whoa, that's a fine.
There we go. So look, I think you're playing with fire by going to by not playing hard. Because I'm gonna say they didn't play as hard as they could. Like I watched that game and I was like, yo, I don't think they, or maybe I don't want to say they not playing hard. I'm gonna say I don't think they really truly understand what they needed to do to get them boys up out of there. Tyrese Halliburton, after having one of the best playoff games of all time, came out there a little bit too nonchalant for me, which goes to the rest of the team. So I don't think they really truly understood the gravity of the situation. You do not want to go to New York in Madison Square Garden. Even though them boys ain't playing good at the Garden or not playing like they should, and even though the Pacers have beat them in the Garden, Game 7. This is different. This is to go to the NBA Finals. This is in a city where they have not been to an NBA finals since the turn of the millennium. They can't let this go back to New York. It'll be too many. Look, they might let Charles Oakley back in the Garden for Game 7 if it gets there. And James Dolan and Charles Oakley are mortal enemies at this point. You do not want to be in New York for Game 7. And that's what scares me, because if you were immature, if you didn't realize what you had in front of you yesterday, well, you going to really need to understand what that means Game 7. So you going to Indiana, get that out the way at Game Bridge, get ready for OKC. If you lose, cancel Christmas.
Catch I'm Not Gonna Hold You, hosted by Scott Lewis, every Monday and Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, only on HMB Media and the Barbershop Network.